I don't think Zach Wilson was the problem with our offense on Sunday. You have to think that he was doing something. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and before we hop in to all of today's content, talking about who is really to blame for the lack of offense against the New York Giants, let me get you guys a really, really big announcement. The Project Prospect channel by Dom C is officially launching, and it is launching with me and Dom doing the first episode of the Draft Dodgers podcast, where we do a full first-round mock draft, and we take all 32 guys and we talk about these prospects. And this is going to be something that me and Dom are going to be doing more regularly. We want to bring you guys draft content, but honestly, as Jets fans, we don't have a need to talk about the draft yet. We are 4-3 and we totally control our destiny. But the reality is that there are 31 other teams. There are hundreds of prospects that we want to talk about, and there are 32 places that these guys can land. So Dom C has started his channel. I will be joining him over there. So if you're interested in draft content at all, go into the description, hit the link in the description, smash the subscribe button, and get ready for a ton of draft content. It's not going to be 100% Jets focused, and I think that that's a really cool thing. Ad read out of the way. Let's get into today's conversation. The New York Giants game was an ugly game, and we know that. And a lot of the box score guys are going to look at it and go, Zach Wilson, 17 of 36. That's 47% completion percentage, 240 yards and a touchdown. And even I said it. I'm not going to give him credit for that touchdown because that's more on Breece Hall than on Zach Wilson. And I'd still agree with that point. But after watching back that game and totally understanding the fact that the interior of the offensive line got decimated and that Dexter Lawrence by himself had 15 pressures and that Zach was running for his life the entire game, I came away with one specific note. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes would have had a better day behind that offensive line and with that play calling. And I think the reality is that the conversation now needs to stop going towards Zach Wilson and his play per se. This is not me excusing Zach or anything like that. But I think some of the focus needs to come away from Zach Wilson and needs to start being put on Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett seems to... either he's handcuffing Zach with play calls and not believing that he can, read through the offense, which I don't think is true because in the Kansas City game, he's going through 1-2-3 read progressions. We saw that against the Eagles, 1-2-3 read progressions. We saw that against the Denver, 1-2-3 read progressions, and going through progressions and executing an offense. But against the Giants, he was calling plays and coming up with schemes where was one guy needed to get open. He had one read. And if that guy didn't get open, well, he was dead in the water. And that doesn't seem like a good execution when it comes to an offensive coordinator calling plays. You either need to trust Zach and let him go and give him more than one option, especially when all of this pressure is coming into his face, or you need to run the ball way more and try to figure out something with, your offensive line to scheme pressure open and put more guys in the box and all of those things. The reality is that no one got open in Sunday's game. No one. I watched that game back, and of the 36 passes, I saw at least 5 drops. Like just drops, not contested balls, because we'll get to those. I'm talking about straight up, ball was where it needed to be, pass catcher just didn't catch it. And okay, it's raining, but you got to catch those balls. Now we move on. Let's talk about just where Zach messed up. There's at least 3 or 4 of those where like the ball slipped from Zach's hand, or he was under pressure, so he throws it kind of badly or whatever. And that's on Zach. You got to make sure that your hands are dry. You got to make sure you got control of the football. That's totally on Zach Wilson. I am not letting him get out of that one scot-free. And if you look at that, that's like 9 balls right there that just never had a shot. And then you put on top of that there were at least 5 or 6 contested balls where Zach Wilson put the ball exactly where it needed to be. The receiver created no separation. Zach saw that, but you know what? If the guy's on your back, that you're open. And Zach puts the ball right in front of them, only spot that the receiver or the pass catcher can get it, right here. And Garrett Wilson just didn't bring it in. And Alan Lazard just didn't bring it in. And Tyler Conklin just doesn't bring it in. That's another 4 passes. That's 14, 15 passes that were just out of the game because either the pass catcher didn't get it, Zach made a mistake, and obviously we talked about that, or anything, or the other part of it is, you know what? No one was getting open because no one was being schemed open. The play calling was the biggest issue for that Giants game from what I saw. The play design was sloppy and lazy. The receivers were running their routes really, really badly, not turning their heads quick enough, not getting to their positions fast enough, not separating themselves from the other receivers. We saw that with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, where if Breece doesn't turn that route upfield, Zach hits Garrett Wilson for a first down every single time. But Breece and Garrett run into one another, ending what would have been a pass completed to Garrett Wilson. And it's just all stemming from the fact that, one, the offensive line was hurt. So Zach is having to bail. Running backs are taught, hey, if he bails, take the thing upfield. And he's bailing so quickly because the protection was so bad and the play design was horrible. There are a lot of things that went wrong against the New York Giants game, but I am honestly willing to say that Zach Wilson's performance wasn't one of the reasons that we struggled. The run game couldn't get going. None of the receivers got open. And honestly, the play calling was just abysmal. Let me know what you guys think about all of that stuff in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.